Welcome to another edition of View from the Bleachers. No, I'm not Tim Jones. I'm Tim's guest host for this prestigious occasion, Nigel Harrison Pendlesworth III, Viscount of Ellesmere. Tim asked me to present today's topic as it is one that is very near and dear to my heart. Cricket. No, not the insect. I'm talking about the sport that is played by we Brits in white V-neck sweaters. And if you're like most Americans, you've only a vague idea about our favorite sport. But let me tell you, cricket is a fantastic, spectacular spectator sport once you get the hang of a few hundred unfamiliar terms, and assuming you have time to attend an 8-hour lecture on exactly how the game is played. Believe it or not, it's actually a lot like your baseball, in that, as best as anyone has figured out, there's absolutely no point to the game whatsoever. As Mr. Jones is fond of saying, I'll explain everything you need to know about this underappreciated sport on the other side. Welcome back, my good American friends. Quick quiz, what exactly is cricket? Perhaps this simple photo can explain. Look closely at these two images. One of these images features a slow-moving herbivore that can remain in the same position, motionless for hours at a time, while making indecipherable sounds. And the other image, of course, is a common insect. I wanted to discuss this game of cricket because, well, recently, your American sports network, ESPN, announced that it is now broadcasting coverage of this marvelous sport. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about televising small green insects chewing through leaves, although granted, for some cynical sports fans, that might represent a more compelling TV viewing option. No, I'm talking about the sport of cricket. If you're someone who finds bowling on TV just a tad bit too exciting, or if you're looking for an inexpensive way to enter a self-induced coma, well then cricket could be just your ticket, my good chap. I'm not exactly sure why ESPN decided to start covering cricket. Perhaps ESPN's international Sports Nobody Gives a Rat's Ass About channel wasn't able to get the programming rights for an amateur equestrian dressage. Or perhaps it came down to making a difficult choice between televising the slowest sport in the world or just broadcasting 5 hours of dead air. You might be surprised to learn that cricket is a sport that's been around for centuries. It's a very old game. Cricket is a lot like your American baseball, just slightly slower paced and without gloves or bases or David Ortiz bobblehead night, whatever that is. Like baseball, it has a pitcher, which we call a bowler, and whilst a baseball has a batter, cricket has a batsman. Very similar concept. And like baseball, the main objective for most fans watching the game is, well, to get drunk as quickly as possible in order to keep their mind off the fact that the game in front of them is mind-numbingly dull. Sadly, most Americans have never even seen a game of cricket, so let me take the next 5 hours to briefly explain how my favorite sport works. The object of the game is simple: score more runs than the opposing team. To do so, the team's batsman must leg out to the other end of the pitch and back, and of course, avoid letting the bowler strike the wicket, causing the bails atop the stumps to fall. The batsman ideally wants to hit the ball between the mid-off and the mid-on. A well-struck ball might even make it past the long off. Experienced batsmen wait patiently for the bowler to throw a belter or perhaps a full toss, which he can then often successfully hit into the strong grubber, which, as you can imagine, is almost impossible to plumb. Are you still with me so far, old chap? Okay, perhaps this might help. This picture shows the basic positions for which a standard cricket match takes place, featuring the pitch, a wicket, an oval field, and approximately 47 fielding positions with names like gully, square leg, and mid-wicket. To be perfectly honest, I have no idea what any of these positions actually does. My best guess is their main function is to take turns ordering tea and scones. When the bowler has completed 6 balls, this constitutes 1 over, And then a new bowler begins at the opposite end of the pitch, at which time the roles of striker and non-striker can swap. If, whilst running multiple runs, a batsman does not touch the ground before the popping crease before he returns for the next run, well, then the umpire at that end will signal one short and the number of runs scored is reduced by 1, which only makes sense. Two of the most important fielding positions in your standard ring field are the gully and the leg square because... I have no bloody idea why. Okay, to be honest, I don't get this sport any more than you do. I'm sure by now your eyes have completely glazed over and you're probably about to nod off on the Chesterfield. So let's be honest with each other, can we? It really doesn't matter what I say at this point, does it? You're not listening to a word I say. Hey, I wonder, did I ever deposit that check at the bank? And I wonder what that rattling sound is under the bonnet of my car. Note to self, don't forget to go to the grocery store for supplies for tonight's party. Yes. Oh, I guess I probably should get back to the point of this piece in the off chance that anybody is still watching me. Cheerio, mate. It appears that you just woke up from your nap. Welcome back. As I was saying, there are several common misconceptions about cricket. Let's walk through a few of them, okay? For example, myth. It is only played by stuffy, rich, white Englishmen clad in V-neck sweaters. Well, the reality is we sometimes wear beige or cream-colored sweaters and sometimes also don a snappy cap featuring the coat of arms of the House of Gloucestershire or perhaps the House of Kent. Myth. A cricket match is insufferably long, typically lasting 7 days. Hogwash. Reality is that it only feels that long while you're watching it. In fact, the average match is typically over in less than 3 days. It only takes 7 days if they go into sudden death overtime. Myth. The best players in the world are from India. They play cricket because they suck at every other sport. Oh, that's so harsh. The reality is, to say that this nation of India sucks at every other sport is a ridiculous overstatement. On occasion, they've been known to hold their own in lawn bowling and even badminton. Now, for the newcomers to this great sport, let me offer just a few suggestions to help you enjoy watching the game of cricket. First, get yourself a comfy spot on your Chesterfield, pour yourself a spot of tea, maybe bake some crumpets while you're at it. Then I might suggest you skim a copy of the basic rules of cricket for beginners. I suggest the abridged 178-page version. Then inject 48 ounces of Red Bull directly into your veins. After about 20 minutes, or whenever you begin to lapse into a coma, change over to the fishing channel. Cricket is a great sport once you get in the right frame of mind, which, for me, only requires about 4 pints of Guinness. Well, that's the view from the bleachers. Perhaps I'm off base. And remember, I'm Nigel Harrison Pentlesworth III, the Viscount of Ellesmere, guest hosting for my dear friend Tim Jones. And as I think Tim likes to say, remember, if you like this video or simply feel sorry for my friend Tim, please click on the subscribe button below and share this video with your friends or anyone you'd like to really annoy. For more of Tim's humor, you can visit his website, viewfromthebleachers.net. Cheerio!